Let me begin by saying how pleased we are that Their Excellencies, the Governor General and Mrs. Johnson, are here and have graced us with their presence again, showing really strong support for the work of Catalyst Canada and the people that we're recognizing tonight. Thank you very much for being here. I'd also like to single out a few other individuals in the audience for special mention. First, we're very pleased to welcome again the Governor of the Bank of Canada, Mr. Stephen Poloz, who's right here. He's been introduced. Keep that dollar strong. And we're delighted that Ms. Kim Armstrong from Edmonton was able to attend. She is the Deputy Minister responsible for the status of women in Alberta. And thank you for coming. Since the last Catalyst dinner, a great deal has happened in Canada around the topic of diversity and gender diversity in particular. The conversation about this important issue has progressed significantly. And on that note, let me recognize a newly elected member of Parliament for Davenport, Julie Zurowitz, one of 88 women elected to our House of Commons last month. More than any other election in Canadian history. And I'm particularly proud because until the election, Julie worked for BMO, and I promised her that if she was elected, I'd buy her dinner. So last year she was a host, and this year she's a guest. Well done, Julie. And Julie will be sitting in Parliament with the Honourable Patricia Hadjou, the new federal minister responsible for the status of women. And the minister wasn't able to be here tonight. She's in deep briefings, as all members of the new cabinet are, getting ready for when the House of Commons sits in a month. But I want to congratulate her on her appointment and just reflect the fact that Catalyst hopes and intends to work very closely with her as she moves into her new portfolio. At Catalyst, we often talk about the importance of intentional leadership, because for change to occur, there has to be action. And I think the final congratulation needs to go to the Prime Minister on the deliberate choice he made to achieve gender parity in his cabinet. Gender diversity is also a matter of interest for the Ontario Securities Commission, led by a man of great influence, who has been using that influence to effect important change in the boardrooms of our country. Howard Whetstone, your insistence on good public policy goes far beyond personal conviction, and I want to thank you for 5 extraordinary years at the helm of the OSC, and thank you for being here with us tonight. Now, as proud as these deliberate actions make us, and they do, this evening's champions would also be the first to tell us there's a great deal more to be done. And that's why it matters that so many CEOs and community leaders have chosen to be here this evening, including several who sit with me on the Catalyst Advisory Board. Leaders like Carol Stevenson and George Cope and Victor Dodig. We take great satisfaction that so many corporate leaders have chosen to be here, because it's your presence that underlines the importance that your organization is attached to Catalyst Canada, more importantly, that they attached to the mission. I also want to recognize a great friend, Arthur Irving, and his family, who've come from St. John tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Irving, for coming. And although he was mentioned, I'll mention Ken Dryden and his wife Linda again, because the buzz in the room about his talk today has been spectacular. And so I'll just recognize 2 great Canadians. As chair of this special dinner celebration since its inception 6 years ago, I've had the honor to present awards on your behalf to exceptional women and men who are literally changing the way we deal with people in the workplace. Women and men who are promoting diversity and inclusiveness, behaviors which all of us in the room value and applaud. And Catalyst is an organization with which my company, Bank of Montreal, has long historic ties. And though I'll be turning over the role of dinner chair to a highly qualified successor next year, because Alex told me if I hang on much longer, I'll be accused of being a blocker, I am going to continue to work closely with Catalyst and the Canadian Advisory Board because I believe deeply in the mission and the work that's being done. In particular, I'm going to be spending more time working with the next generation of leaders to ensure that diversity and inclusion are firmly embedded in the cultures of tomorrow's workplaces. In a brand new arrangement with Catalyst, we've formed a group of highly engaged emerging leaders from across Canada that will be known as the BMO Millennial Leaders Advisory Council on Inclusion. And Alex and I will be attending their inaugural meeting tomorrow morning here. The young women who have been chosen for this council come from business and engineering schools across the country. They've been with us all day today as participants in the Catalyst Honors Conference, and I'm very pleased that they're all here tonight. They represent very well the most educated, most talented generation in memory, and we count on them to create the workplaces of the future, workplaces unimpeded by the barriers that all of us in this room have been working to remove. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our future CEOs and community leaders, and could I ask the millennial leaders to please stand and be recognized? We're very proud that you're going to finish the work that so many of us in the room are committed to. And I'm delighted to report that this is another sellout dinner. More than 60 companies and organizations are represented here tonight, and the money we raise is going to help Catalyst Canada continue to do its groundbreaking work. This work, as most of you know, is rooted in research. Catalyst is an organization that is without equal when it comes to truth-telling, through rigorous benchmarking, and when Catalyst issues a report, people in corporate Canada pay close attention. Catalyst is the go-to source for information on women in work. They highlight the challenges, but more importantly, focus on the opportunities that we can pursue to make our workplaces more diverse, more inclusive, in short, better. Ensuring that performance is the only predictor of success requires discipline, and it takes leadership, and that's why we're here tonight, to recognize 3 mobilizers who are taking action to ensure the next decade looks as different from today as this decade does from the last. You're going to meet them shortly after dinner. First, though, I want to thank 2 other mobilizers for exemplifying the commitment to lead. They inspire each one of us to rise to the occasion and do more. The first is Alex Johnson, the Executive Director of Catalyst Canada, who has had another brilliant year at the head of this uncompromising organization. You'll hear from Alex after dinner, but I want to single her out now and thank her on behalf of the Board of Catalyst and the Canadian Advisory Board for the leadership that she's showing on so many levels. Alex. The second is a leader who's been an inspiration to all of us who believe in Catalyst Canada and the work that it does, Deborah Gillis. Deborah is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Catalyst, based in New York, but she's better known to us as the former head of Catalyst Canada, which she joined in 2006. And it was in her former role, that the Canadian organization launched this event. Without Deborah's vision, the Catalyst Canada Honors event that we're sharing tonight wouldn't have happened, and we're delighted, Deborah, that you're here. She is an original trailblazer, a diehard Catalyst, a true friend. Please help me welcome Deborah Gillis to the stage.